Hello there! So today will be the third cooking video we do for Ben's 9 Lives, or Ben's 9 Knives, as someone commented very well. And this will be one of my favourite dishes. It'll be risotto. This one can be vegetarian if you just don't put the meat in, but I'm going to put the meat in. So yeah, let's get started. First, let's go through what you need. Obviously it's risotto. You need your rice. It's burst. I burst it off camera, luckily, so I can't turn it upside down. Arborio rice, risotto rice, good stuff. Celery, peppers, onions, mushrooms. They're in this, so I'll give them a little wash now in a few minutes. Carrots, sweet corn, stock pots. And then this is the most important ingredient we need, saffron. This stuff is actually worth more than gold in weight. So yeah, pretty expensive. It does make the risotto absolutely amazing. Chorizo, chicken. You're also going to need 3 hobs. I can't really cook this in China because I've only got the 2. And you're going to need to make use of your oven. Okay, so let's get started. Everything happens very quickly with this meal, so it's best to do the things that take longest first, like boil the carrots and cook your chicken. You do those first. I'll put these in the oven at 180 degrees for about 35 minutes, and they'll cook just in the background as we do the rest of the risotto. Second thing we do is, I believe it's called popping the rice, which is before you add any stock or anything else to the rice, you just heat it up in a bit of oil for a few minutes and just let it absorb the oil and cook on its own for a little while. I think it's called popping the rice, not sure. Just get the oil on all the rice and just let that cook on a very low heat just for a couple of minutes before you add the stock. Next thing you want to do is just have your stock ready to go. And boiling water, 500 milliliters per stock pot. And have that ready to go for when your rice is popped and ready for stock. Your rice is there, and you've got your boiling water bubbling, ready to boil your carrots so that they're easier to chop later. I'm kind of rushing a little bit because I've never recorded myself cooking the risotto. I mean, why would I? But yeah, so a lot happens for this meal, and I've never recorded myself before, so I'm kind of rushing just to make sure it all happens on time with the video watching me. And then while that's done, your rice is probably ready for a bit of stock. Let the rice absorb that. Don't stir it too often or you'll have some sticky risotto. Just let the rice absorb that stock while you chop the rest of your veg. Usually I add the mushrooms into the risotto first because they add so much flavor to the risotto. And as you can see, I chopped them up pretty finely, so most people don't even know they're in there. Because a lot of people don't like mushrooms. Add a little more stock. And now is also time for the most important ingredient. saffron. No, that's too much. No, actually, no, it's not. That's perfect. And just let that in there now. Slowly cook it while you do the rest of your veg. Carrots boiling. Chicken in the oven. Chicken. Let's get to the rest. Next thing I personally do, because I'm not a big fan of crunch in my meals, is I fry the onions, the peppers, and the celery. I fry them in the frying pan so that takes any extra crunch out of them, so you've got a nice soft risotto. So yeah, like I said, just fry up your onion, your celery, and your bell peppers first. Just take any crunch out of them, and then we can add them into the rice and stock later. Smells delicious. Chop the ends off your celery. And then most people, I don't see a lot of people do this. Usually I break them. And then this is, I think these are called the teeth of the celery. And you just take those off, because again they add a bit of a crunch, and like I said, I'm not a fan of that. So you just take the teeth off the celery, break it in half, and they come off pretty easily. Make sure you give everything a stir every now and then to make sure nothing. And similarly with the mushrooms, I chop everything pretty finely. Everything's chopped quite small, so that when you have fussy eaters, you can just lie to them and tell them, no, I didn't put any celery in this. No, what are you talking about? And we add our celery to the frying pan with the onion, just so that it takes the crunch away. You don't have to do this, you can just put it straight into the risotto if you want, but I find it nicer. And like I said earlier, we add in the mushrooms and the saffron first so that they can really leave their taste, their flavor in the risotto. And we can see even the colors already changing, which we want to see. Right, so as this is frying up nicely, the risotto is simmering away and the carrots are still boiling for later, we have to chop our last ingredient. And again, this isn't vegetarian, the last one, but you don't have to put it in, even though it tastes amazing. So we're just going to pour this veg into the risotto because it looks good, and we're going to use the same frying pan now in a minute to fry the chorizo. Also make sure you give your frying pan a very just quick wash over so that you don't fry any leftover veg stuff. Right, we're about halfway through our 35 minutes, so I just want to check on our chicken. Looks good. Give it a poke, turn it around. And then the first, you gotta always check on your chorizo, otherwise it burns very quickly. Turn it over a few times so it cooks evenly. Okay, that looks good. So we leave that for just a minute and we deal with our carrots that have been bubbling away this whole time. Add in our carrots, and then the only thing left to do is look after our chorizo. You want to have a little bowl ready. because this chorizo is so oily. Now that you've nothing else to do, you can probably turn up the heat on your chorizo and fry that, because this has your sole attention. It's all coming together nicely, and if you've timed it correctly, your chicken should be done as soon as you're finished with the chorizo. Unless, of course, you're vegetarian, in which case this is a much easier meal to make, because this is all you have to do. Checking our chicken. Chicken looks good. Time to take that out and chop it up and throw that into the risotto. I just pour the chicken into the risotto to absorb any excess liquid. And that's pretty much it. Your risotto is ready to go. You can also dump the chorizo in there as well if you want, but if you prefer it more crunchy, just leave it in a bowl and then top it off when you're dishing up yourself. And look at that. There you are, risotto ready to go.